My name is Candace Feazell, and my daughter Krymson is now 15. In 2006, she was 9 and went on her first hunting trip with her father, killed a deer, and got bitten by a tick. From that time, it's been an uphill journey. Krymson, we weren't sure what was wrong with her for the first year. We'd never heard of Lyme disease. We didn't realize the different things that could happen with your immune system. They thought it was H. pylori. Then they said after the H. pylori didn't go away after repeated treatments, they thought, well, she was starting to have some aching and swelling in her joints. They said, well, she has arthritis. After the medications did not help for arthritis and it started to bother other systems in her body, they suspected she could have lupus and continued to give her medications to suppress her immune system. Nothing helped. By this point, she's bedridden, not in school, and completely laying in a dark room all the time, not walking anymore, and she had lost weight. She was down to 60-something pounds, which was about a loss of about 20 pounds at the time. We went to all the specialists they sent us to. We let her take every medicine they said to do, everything that every doctor laid out for us we did. We had an appointment at the Mayo Clinic, an emergency appointment to go, but at that time she was diagnosed with Lyme disease. We decided not to go to the Mayo Clinic and were sent to New York City to a specialist in Lyme disease. That specialist started her on IV antibiotics, and the journey of the antibiotics started then. We did that for over a year, and then we decided to give her a drug holiday and try to take her off of them, see how she was doing, because she would have slight improvement and then she would plateau. Slight improvement was being able to sit in the room with us and having less pain during the day that was not controlled by medicine, but it was still pretty much homebound. When we did the drug holiday, she started having neurological problems, myoclonic jerks. Her entire body moved, jerked. Her head was completely bruised from just in the shower, hitting her head on the side of the wall. Anytime you got her close to an object, her head would go straight into it, her hands, her body. She had troubles feeding herself at this point, so we decided to put her back on the IV antibiotics, and they sent us to a neurologist in Connecticut that specialized in pediatric issues like this. They decided she had pandas and started her on IVIG treatments of 45 grams, which is about $10,000 a treatment weekly. We started doing that, but when we got back home from the trip to Connecticut, we realized she couldn't travel anymore, so we couldn't continue to go see the doctor in New York City. So from there, our pediatrician helped us search, and we found a clinic in another state that we had to go stay at. We ended up in Missouri for off and on for 3 years. Well, we were there almost 2 years solid before we ever came home the first time. And this entire time, since 2007, when she had her first PICC line put in, we've been dripping antibiotics. She's had 10 PICC lines, 4 ports, continual medicine up to, she's taken from anywhere from 60 to 100 pills a day. How many prescriptions that was, I'm not sure, but we've got tons and tons and tons in antibiotics. She would do a little better for a little while. We would get excited. That'd make you want to stay on it if you saw her awake and in the room with you. We didn't know what else to do, another path to turn. We just knew that Krymson was in the bed all the time and in a lot of pain. Her pain has it just crippled her world. She slept just to get away from her pain. Krymson didn't want to take big pain medications. She's always been very scared of getting addicted to them. Her body almost, it feels like it's telling her those weren't good for her. That wasn't something she could have. We've always kind of tried to listen to her on that, but so she just endured the pain, but with a very good attitude and a strong spirit. We finally, when we went back to Kansas City in April of this year, no, we went back in February of this year, from the tests that they had and so forth, we knew that there wasn't much else they could do neurologically. She had lesions, she was having increased seizure activity, lots of issues neurologically. And her breathing, she's on 4 liters of oxygen all the time. She's in the bed, she's in a wheelchair, she can't walk. Really all we were doing is masking symptoms with drugs. Every symptom she had, we'd just give her another drug for it. But as far as healing, they weren't offering anything. Just, you know, heal her. At one point, the antibiotics had made her have too much intracranial pressure. She's lost her peripheral vision on the sides, and when she looks down the middle, it's like looking through a puzzle piece. When she looks, she can't see a complete picture. Just tons and tons of medicines, tons of doctors, neurologists, infectious disease doctors. She's continued the IVIG treatments all this time. We've just can't even count the dollars spent in trying to provide all the treatments and all the medications going into her body because we thought it was the right thing to do. We finally left in April of this year after being in Kansas City about 7 weeks. I could just feel God speaking to me. I just had a strong feeling there wasn't much more they could do. Krymson was wanting to go home. She didn't think they could help her anymore, and we just made a decision as a family to stick on oral medications and go home. We had to go home, regroup, pray, figure out what direction we needed to go in, but what we had done all these years wasn't working. We got home, and I always have a plan B. I feel like I have to have a plan B for her. I didn't have one. Our family, my husband, our friends, everybody's looking to me. What is plan B? You know, what are you doing at home? What are you going to do with her? And we decided to just be quiet and let God lead the way and see what was in store. Out of the blue, a lady that we had met there at a clinic that we were in Kansas City called me on the phone and said that Krymson had been on her heart for a couple weeks. When she left, Krymson was actually doing better. She would have assumed that she would have continued to do better, but then she had the intracranial pressure problem and couldn't take the medications anymore and went downhill. But anyways, this lady had called, and just in the conversation I asked, I said, well, you know, what are you doing? And she said, oh, you wouldn't believe it. You know, I'm doing wonderful. And she explained to me a little bit, very, very little bit, about what she had done with Tamara. And we got off the phone, and I called my husband, and I said, you know, I know this sounds really weird, but I have plan B. And I said, I'm going to make a phone call to this lady, you know, and I explained what I knew. And she had just given me a tiny amount. Pulled up the website, looked at it, prayed over it, talked to him. And the next day I was on the phone with Tamara. We had a family meeting that weekend. I called our entire family together and just told them we felt led to do this just right off the bat. And I don't move into anything easily, especially when it comes to Krymson. You know, everything's well thought out, planned, and this is just the way we needed to go. Within 2 days of being here, she wanted to go out and eat. Krymson hadn't been into a restaurant in years. We might have had to, in travel, go into a place and she'd make it very quickly and get back out. She wanted to go out and eat. She was sitting up, laughing. She took off her dark glasses that she has to have protect her from light. She put on her regular glasses while we were in there. It's just a miracle. And as tough as detoxification can be, it was easy compared to all the things she had been through before. And the results have been unreal. The way that her body's being supported and the strength that she has is a miracle. Our family can't believe it. My husband and I are looking at each other. It's night and day different. We have a child that 3 weeks ago I couldn't get out of the bed. I couldn't get to watch a TV program. Her birthday was exactly 1 month ago, and on her birthday she would fall asleep while her friends were there. She was trying to talk to them and she would fall asleep in the middle of conversation. 15-year-olds don't do that. And now she's like, I want to go to my friend's ball game tomorrow night. She wants to go to the high school and see all the kids she hasn't seen in years, because she has the energy to do so. And this is the beginning. You know, it's the beginning of healing, but it's not, you know, it's more tangible and real than anything we've ever seen or been through. And we're thankful to be here, and we're thankful for Tamara's knowledge and that she has faith, because we think it's going to take a lot of knowledge, a lot of hard work, and a lot of faith to continue Krymson's healing, but it's there and we can see it for the first time. Okay, we are in session 13 for Krymson. Her progress has been unreal. We just cannot, it's hard to grasp what her quality of life is like now versus our coming in the beginning. Krymson was dependent on many medications. We've cleared most of that from her daily routine. She just doesn't need them anymore. She handles pain without any pain medication. There just isn't pain to treat anymore, and that's probably the biggest gift a mom could ever get, to see her child not in pain daily. She was dependent on IVIG treatments. Her prescription was for once a week. We had pushed it off to every 2 weeks, but on this alternate week, she really suffered as though she needed it. By the second week, she was just absolutely, we were just counting the days until it was time for her treatment. Since we started here 4 weeks ago, Krymson, our plan was to wean down from them as her body healed and as she was more healthy, to get them further and further apart. She's never gone back, has not needed one. Prior to that, she couldn't read on the week waiting for a treatment. She's been reading every day. Her eyes are fine. She wants, she's ready to move on to some contacts. Krymson could not be in the light. As I'm sitting here doing this, the overhead bright lights are on, the sun is shining in, and she has her sunglasses pulled up.
There's her sister.
Yeah, there's her sister Scarlett. And there's Krymson laying there smiling. Note the smile.
Note the smile.
Yes. With her sunglasses pushed up. Bright lights that have caused seizures, headaches, extreme pain, just total overstimulation before. It's just, it's unbelievable, it's a miracle, and it's opening doors for Krymson that we have never given up hope, but we just didn't know where they were coming, and now we know. I blog about Krymson some, and you know, I had just simply put, the best way I can state it is that just weeks ago we were at a point where we didn't know where hope was. We knew that God had it to offer. We didn't know where it was, and He just literally dropped it in our lap. And we were just, the whole concept of internal balance makes sense to me now, because Krymson is becoming balanced of no pain and having energy and putting good things inside of her, to just natural ways of bringing her back to who she's supposed to be. You know, finding balance and giving her opportunities to do things that kids do.